silly woke message which had to go away. Shit bomb! This is the 3 dicks. It's an ancient Ayurvedic medicine called the 3 dicks.
The 3 dicks.
Yeah, I worked it out today because I was thinking, how do I make something funny out of Triphala? And then I realized it means 3 phalli. Phallos. So Triphala is actually Triphalic. So this is instead of being Tom Dick for any old Tom Dick and Harry, it's actually for Dick, Dick and Dick. So the 3 dicks, and they work on the 3 dantians, but they change them into the 3 dictians, which you have to watch out for because it dicks you over, which it did to me. So I was doing my Panchakarma last week in Phuket in the Ayurvedic spa, which is really amazing. And every day, after taking the herbs in the morning, I felt like absolute shit. I mean, really, really emotionally shit, not just physically. I mean, you expect to feel physically shit, but this was like Satra and Kamu have a sleepover when you're 20 in your head and you feel life is shit and then you die. You remember that time? It's the nihilism and everything like that. And it's an important process to see if you actually want to croak or you, which is the easy option, or you're a lunatic and want to keep on living. So in my case, I guess I kept on living. But it came back to that time. So the Triphala works on Kapha, Pitta and Vata for balancing them. And I was given a powder by Dr. Nazim to take, and that was the nastiest medicine ever, because I had to drink it, and nothing would hide the nasty taste. It's like the worst, nastiest Chinese medicine on steroids, but without the rotting carcass in it. You know, everything else was there. So anyway, that's what happened. And then I survived my week. And then, I had Shirodara twice, Abhyanga. I mean, every day there was 2 hours of massage. And Ajit was the massage therapist. And when I saw him, I said, are you from Chennai? And he said, yes. So somehow I knew him. And he was a really good therapist. But on the last day we started talking about stuff because he saw my toe rings and I said, I'm doing that for mama therapy. And he's third generation mama therapist. And mama therapy is very interesting. It's Bodhidharma brought it to Shaolin Monastery. He saw all the monks were really weak, so he put them on the hardcore martial arts route. He actually brought martial arts to China. And then, you remember when Bruce Lee was killed in Hong Kong? Somebody just touched him and he died a day later. So Ajit told me that this is all part of Mama therapy, because it was the martial artists in Kerala who really wanted to understand the vital points. So there are 108 Mama points that you use, but some of them are things like, well, only, I guess you can. Ajit showed me this. He said, if you want to kill somebody, you do this. So you're on the point, and you lock the point. And that's what happened to Bruce Lee. So Bruce Lee didn't know anyone who had that level of training, because it's very, very rare. And nowadays, most people just do Mama points for, massaging, blah, blah, blah. But Ajit's grandfather taught the full system, which is what you're meant to do, how to kill somebody and how to unlock it. And he sent me a whole lot of information about it, and I asked him if he could connect me with a real guru, somebody who doesn't teach commercially, but maybe I can just go and sit with him and understand Mama therapy at a very deep level. And he also told me something. He said, oh, they do this kind of thing. I said, that's chiropractic. Chiropractic was based on a couple of things, but the main one was the Mama therapy. They actually did manipulation. So it's incredible understanding of the anatomical, anatomical and energetic interlock. And so, for really deep healing, if you understand Mama therapy, you can literally bring somebody back to life. And of course, it's mostly known as a Chinese thing, but it's really from the Tamil prince, Bodhidharma. So anyway, that was very, very inspirational. And so I forgave my Triphala, my 3 dicks, and I said, I want to make sure you're the one who's screwing me over. Thank you, Spirit. And this bottle said, sure, I'll do that. Because I'd bought this about 6 months ago, and all this time it had been looking at me accusingly on the counter. And it's like, after I did it, I was wondering, why am I not taking it? And then in Phuket I realised, because it's a ship bomb. Now you know what a ship bomb is. But as part of that detox, I took one more the day I came back, which was like Wednesday, and I felt absolutely awful. I mean, literally, it's just like you were being put into the deepest depression. So interesting. So anyway, maybe you can pop that on the bed. And now, part 2. So you've probably been seen, if you've one of the very, 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 very few people on the planet who watch the light parties, you will have seen my horn. And what happened was, I was really tired one night, sitting at my dining room table, and I literally went out of body, and I woke up falling to the table. And then this lump came immediately, right? And so I knew it was trauma-related. It wasn't a hematoma, because hematomas are red and they have blood in them. And so I just thought it's some kind of bursa with lymph fluid in it. And I'd been patient, but every day I felt really sluggish. Like a background feeling when you just don't feel at peace in your body. It's like dark clouds hanging over you. But because of doing the urotherapy all this time, I could feel when the heavy metals in my brain were being released. Because they're sort of little headaches, but they would come up here when I did certain things, and then they moved to here, and then they went away. And so I thought, okay, well, I've got these heavy metals, and I actually have a really high level of cadmium, which, when I had it tested, was really strange. Because normally that's a difficult one to get a big dose of. Obviously it's in gasoline or petrol. Michael?
Where does it come from?
Gasoline. No, I don't know. But, it's almost impossible to have a huge overdose of cadmium. So then I just had this overall lethargy, very low energy, all the rest of it. So the neurologist, when I sent in my picture to RAM, where it's the best hospital in Chiang Mai, and immediately my daughter Q called up and said, we'd just like to come and have it under local anaesthetic drain. So it should be, an hour procedure. But they put this top neurologist on it, and he said, no, you need to come in right away. And so I went in, and he was talking about cancer wounds, and I'm thinking, cancers take a long time to grow. And this was like within hours. So he said, okay, we're going to give you a CAT scan and all of that. And my brain actually looks like a human brain. It's really surprising.
That's amazing.
I don't know how that
I would
happened.
never expect that.
No, it should have been a mushroom or something. But somehow it looked anatomically correct.
Amazing.
But this thing was purely showing up on the CAT scan on the outside. So it's like, oh, that's cool. And he said, I'm still worried this could be an abscess and a cancer growth. So, okay. He said, I'm going to... the next day was his day off. He said, I'm going to put you in for surgery at 7 p.m. And he'd been working all day. So I had to come back, organise everything, get back in there, and then be prepped and taken down to the operating theatre. But he said to me, you have two choices. Sensible people get a general, idiots get a local. So I said, local! Because the recovery is so much quicker. And the ketamine in the general anaesthetic really affects your spiritual consciousness. It's not like a trivial thing. Yeah, it totally disconnects you, makes you dissociated. And so it's like, okay, I'll do it local. And he looked at me, are you sure? And I said, yeah. It's like, God, what an idiot. But I show up. It takes the nurse about an hour to get me prepped and everything. So at 8 o'clock, from 8 o'clock to 9, he's doing the operation. And it's the most bizarre thing. Because I had cataract surgeries under local, but this thing was, perfectly well, your skull's all exposed. And he's got like a chisel and he's going through it, and then pliers. And then, the aspiration thing where it's like sucking your head off. And so, holy shit. But it was a good exercise in detachment. And then finally it was over. And the funniest thing was, I said, could I have some food? Because I only eat once a day. And so the sister on the ward said, oh yeah, we'll organise something, what do you eat? And it's like, she called up the kitchen, and they couldn't comprehend that I didn't have, all the usual crap. No eggs, even though J is a standard thing. And you know what I got? It was the worst food ever. Well, since I was a baby. It was boiled rice, lukewarm boiled rice, and overcooked cabbage. And that was it. It's like baby food. So anyway, what's happened since then is that I actually feel a lot happier. You probably noticed that my energy's changed. And I'm very grateful to have it out, because it literally is like this big lead helmet that's been lifted, or cadmium helmet, I guess, being lifted off. And so I feel like in my urotherapy detox, which has been going on forever, I feel like Spirit really took care of me to do that, and rather than just leave it. Because it's sort of bearable, but it's never very nice when you've got something out of balance in the body. So, Josh, Jess, forgotten who you are, Mona and Natalie. So thank you all. So Mona came here years ago, and we've gone stuff together, singing roles and everything.
And Triphalic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and so welcome back from Hong Kong to Chiang Mai for this time.
It's my second home.
Yeah, and also Josh knows. I think Josh knows Josh. So I thought Josh is the one who makes these and the mega tuning fork. What did you think of the tuning fork?
This is amazing. They're beautiful.
The
Pure.
giant.
Very cool.
Yes.
And did you feel the energetic alignment? Well, and the
She definitely felt
Did
it.
you feel it?
I think I was distracted taking information. So we'll do it again after.
yes. I mean, that's what the whole point of the light parties is. It's playtime, kindergarten for so-called adults.
Awesome.
I don't see any adults. Oh, Luca might be an adult. He could be an adult. But he's probably the only one. Yeah. And so, ni hao, thank you very much. And the Khazarians couldn't get me down. I really felt it was, not to be paranoid or anything, but given that all the energy around the lights has gone totally dead at this, like this inflection point of the Golden Dawn, we're really at a very, very dark place, but the light's beginning to come in. And so literally I never sell lights or anything like that, power lights, anti lights, whereas they used to sell quite normally, but I have a feeling that on the energetic level, on the etheric plane, the Khazarians know that what I'm doing is opposing them, and so they're trying to fuck me over. Did I say fuck? Was that
I
a
didn't hear
technical
that.
term?
What was that?
Fork, yes. They forked me over.
Tuning fork you over.
Exactly. Yes, but this tuning fork is really sharp and nice. Maybe it's trident with a Satan attached to it, sacrificing bollock to Moloch. Bollock to Moloch. Oh, that brings us back to the 3 dicks. How many? Okay, here's a question for you, Michael. How many balls does a 3 dick have?
I would say 4.
So you've got some of them merged, but not all of them. Very good.
Well, the initial was 4, but you could say more, but they're, what's the word? They're not,
They don't fit in the
they're
scrotum.
obfuscated.
They,
That's not the right word.
they're extra scrotal.
They're weird.
They're weird.
They're
So,
fucked up, essentially.
so if you see lots of balls in the scrotum, run away. All right, bye-bye, girls and boys.
Bye, girls.
Oh, luckily nobody watched us live. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
All right, take care, everyone.